All right, welcome. 2025 is in the rearview mirror. We have 2026 in front of us. What did the market do in December as compared to November of last year? What did the market do as a year as a whole? We'll look at that in this video. Same data points as usual: St. Tammany, Tangi, and Washington parishes, average sale price, days on market, number of units sold. I'm going to change the format a little bit for this video. You'll look at my face the whole time. I'll be talking to you. It won't be the computer screen like it normally is. I feel like that's maybe a little mundane. So my eyes will dart back to my computer, which is here, and back to you, which you are here. So let's jump in. We're going to look at St. Tammany Parish first. We'll look at the average and median sale price of homes. Then I'll change to the year before I get into units sold and days on market. Okay, well, let's look. So if you remember in December, we were hovering around the 300,000 mark for an average sale price in the median. In the median category, and the average was around 356,000. So sometimes you see differences between the average and the median. That's okay. The median is the middle. The average is all the sales divided by the number of sales. So we still had an increase from November to December. That's the point I want to make here, is that both the median and the average in St. Tammany Parish had an increase from November to December, which I find is interesting. That just means there were higher price homes being sold. When we look at number of units sold, the tail will tell, did we actually sell more houses or not? So what I want to look at before we jump into number of units sold and days on market is how the average sale price and median sale price look in St. Tammany Parish from 2024 to 2025. Did it go up or did it go down? Are high interest rates driving prices down, or are we just on a normal appreciation type of run as the market tends to do? Let's see. We'll change the graph to a 12 month. We'll look at multi year. And how about that? The median sale price in St. Tammany Parish in 2024 was $286,000. The median sale price in St. Tammany Parish in 2025 was $296,000. So it actually went up, even with high interest rates. The average sale price did the same thing. It was $342,000 in 2024, up to $362,000 in 2025. I repeat what I've said before in last month's video. Prices aren't really going to come down overall. Obviously, there'll be spots that are softer than others. I think the values are pretty much here to stay. Let's switch back and see how much stuff were we selling in St. Tammany Parish as far as number of units sold as compared to November to December. So in November in St. Tammany Parish, we sold 278 homes. In December, we sold 298 homes. So we had an increase in units sold, increase in sale price. I find that fascinating. The winter months can be a little slower. I think it's really neat that we saw an increase here in both sale price and units sold. What days on market do? So days on market actually went up in December. So in November, it was 39 days on market. In December, it was 50. So we did have an increase in days on market, which, the trend has been increasing all throughout these videos that we've been tracking the data. So once again, I'm not surprised. And if we switch to a year view, like what is it averaging out over the year, over the past couple of years, I'm actually shocked. In 2024, the average days on market for the whole market in St. Tammany was 47. In 2025, it was 52. That's down 10.6%. 42 days on market is nothing. That's a blip. Think about it. That's 6 weeks, not even 6 weeks. It's 5.5, 6, close enough. 6, 7, right? Like the kids say. I think that's wild. I think it's great. I think it's a good thing. Again, if you are a seller and if the average days on market is that short, you know that when you list, it should move quickly. If your pricing is correctly, your condition matches your price, all the things that are very important. So that's great. What about closed sales? Let's see. Did we have a higher closed sale in St. Tammany Parish, or did we have a lower on the monthly average. I want to look at the rolling 12 months and see. So in 2024, we sold 3,368 homes, and in 2025 we sold 3,268. So that's a decrease of 3%. I'll take it. It's not terrible. Um, what are we going to do in 2026? I'm hoping it increases. See, in my market and in my business, I've had an increase all across the board. So more transactions last year, um, more volume. Things were better for us in our market, in my office, in my business. So I would have argued that we would have sold more inventory last year than we did this year, like in 2024, than we did last year. But that's okay. A 3% decrease is nothing. That's pretty small. I will take that in any market. Let's switch to Tangi and see what's happening with our friends to the west. So we're going to start, like I said, with the average sale price. Just see what has happened, both from November to December, and then look at the whole year. Tangi also had an increase. Actually, they had a decrease in sale price, just a little bit. The average sale price in November was $265,000, and it was down to $256 in December. Not a huge dip. Again, that could just be the data that's being compiled. The median sale price stayed flat pretty much. The median in November was 250, and in December it was 248. So just a little bit of a dip, not a big deal. What did Tangi do year over year in the past 2 years to see what's going on? So if you look, the average sale price the median sale price in Tangi in 2024 was $231,000. In 2025, it was $240,000. The average, it went up as well, 242 in 2024, 257 in 2025. So there we are. We've seen an increase in average sale price in Tangi Parish, which is good. Let's look at days on market and see what their trend is looking like over the past year. Okay, their days on market went up in December, just like St. Tammany did. No big deal. Not surprised. It went from 26 days on market in November to 69 days on market in December. And what about closed sales? In November, they closed 66 transactions on the residential side. And in December, it jumped up to 101. So we had an increase on all those metrics in Tangi and St. Tammany. I'm a little surprised that we had a run there at the end of the year. Sometimes that happens. I like it. Let's see what days on market did. We just looked at that. I can't believe it was as low as 26 in November, and then it jumped up to 69 in December. Now let's look at year over year. So days on market back in 2024, on an average for Tangi Parish was 22. In 2025, it was 33. It went up. Didn't go up as much as St. Tammany, but it still went up, and that's okay. 30 days on market is nothing. That's really not. Even if it were in the 60s, I'd be okay with that. What about closed sales? So Tangi kind of ran the same. In 2024, they closed 1,234 homes. And in 2025, they closed 1,226. So basically had a decrease of 0.6%, which is nothing. Again, that signals good market to me. Again, I would have thought it would have been higher, but it's lower, but not by much. I'll take that in the market. Now let's switch to our friends to the north in Washington Parish and see what the data holds there. All right, the average sale price in Washington Parish went up a little bit in December. It was $135,000 in November, up to $166,000 in December. The median was an increase as well. 125 in November, 159 in December. So increase. What happened year over year in Washington Parish with their sale price as compared to 2024? We're going to take a look and see. Their average sale price in 2024 was $175,000, and in 2025 it was $193,000. So here we are, increase in sale price. That's strong numbers for Washington Parish. I like to see that for the rural community in our area. That's wonderful. Their median sale price did the same. It was $152,000 in 2024 and 163,500 in 2025. Really, really good stuff. Let's see what their closed sales were doing. In 2024, they closed 205 transactions. In 2025, they went up to 207. So they had an increase of 1%. So Washington Parish is looking better than we are here in St. Tammany and in Tangi. I think that's great. What's days on market looking like year over year? Their days on market in 2024 was 27. It's amazing. And it was only 41 last year. So yet again, they beat St. Tammany Parish. I think that's fantastic. I love it. Let's look at the end of the year for Washington Parish just to see how November and December fared for days on market. They went down a little bit in December. So in November, the days on market were 33, and in December it was 26. It's interesting because Tangi and St. Tammany, it was the opposite of that. I find that to be pretty cool. And what about their closed sales? They closed 10 transactions in November and 9 in December. Not a big deal. Again, Washington Parish tends to have small number of units being sold, so that's okay. What was interesting is we had lower sales in both St. Tammany and Tangi end of the year as far as days on market increasing, but it went down for Washington Parish. I love to see the average sale price going up the way that it did in Washington Parish. I also love to see the number of transactions increasing the way they are in Washington Parish. I think for St. Tammany and Tangipahoa, I'm not concerned about the way the sale price, moved a little bit in a negative direction. I'm also not concerned about the transactions, the way they moved in a negative direction. None of that is bad. All that is good for us. I feel like the market is stabilizing. I feel like 2026 is going to be better. I think if you waited for the bottom of the market, you missed it. All things that signal that if you're a buyer that's been waiting, I think you should get it. I think you should get in the market. I think you should be looking. We all obviously want rates to come down, but here's the deal: if the average sale price is going to continue to trend upward, while you're waiting on the rates to stabilize or go lower, you see that you're actually costing yourself money as home prices continue to increase, because I don't see them coming down. I feel like 2026 is going to be better than 2025. I don't think I'm wrong. Is it going to be leaps and bounds? I don't think so. I think if you look at the way the market has behaved since 2023, when it started really kind of coming down, we had that dip. We're coming back up. Things are stabilizing. All indicators that the market is making a comeback, making a turnaround. It would be different if we saw like drastic home sale prices falling, but we're not. I don't think we're going to. That's just my 2 cents. Thanks for joining. Hope you like the different format. We will continue this. A little different for me, having the camera in my face the whole time, kind of fumbling and stumbling and trying to keep track of the data. It's much easier when I'm staring at the screen the whole time to keep my mind straight on what I'm saying and making sure I'm not confusing the data points. So bear with me. It'll get better. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining. Like, subscribe, all the hoopla and things. Send it to a friend. Look forward to seeing you next month.